back to another week, really coming down to the home stretch here. Hope we all had a nice extended weekend. I know Saturday was a little yucky, but yesterday and Sunday were sure beautiful days, and I hope we were able to enjoy them. So coming down to the home stretch here, we are going to spend probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 more weeks left on this project, so we will have some smaller project due after this. But what we're going to accomplish this week is that everyone should have submitted 3 character drawings that they created themselves, whether that's completely original or you used inspiration from a couple different characters in order to create one of the 3 characters that you created. Moving forward, I'm going to suggest which one you move forward with for your final. You're going to draw it on a new, fresh piece of paper. Draw it, if you want to draw it on one piece of paper and then trace it onto a final piece of paper, because that's probably what we would have done in class. And all that you really need is some tape, the piece of paper. You put that piece of paper against a window, and then the new piece of paper without the drawing on it, and then you have your own light box like that. Or you can just draw it, try to make it clean as possible. Remember, we don't want to see too many erase marks and things like that. But you also want to draw light enough where you don't see the pencil mark underneath the color pencil. Okay, so what you're going to submit next week is the final drawing, no color. Okay, we're still going to hold off on the color. I'm going to have you tell me what parts of your drawing are going to be, what color. So the hair is going to be green, the face is going to be blue. You will tell me, but you will not actually color it in, because I just want to do one last check, make sure the drawing is perfect and ready to move forward with. And then once I check that drawing next week, so after this week, next week you will add the color. We are also going to start thinking about this week, we're going to start thinking about some background elements. Notice how in some of the pieces that he created, there's, like an organic shape flowing in the background with some objects floating. I'm going to have each of you think of 3 objects to put around your character. It could be things that your character likes. It could be things that you like. It could be as simple as just putting shapes around the character. Also, look at some of the objects that he puts in his own work. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. But they really can be anything. But we still want to do it in his style, okay? So I'm going to pause right here. We'll go into the little screen recording where I'm going to point out some things that you could be thinking about putting in your background. And what we're going to be submitting this week is a final drawing, okay? Just the final drawing, nothing in the background yet, just of the head. And then on a separate piece of paper or separate pieces of paper, you're going to start sketching some potential background objects or background shapes to put into your background, but not on the final just yet, because we want to practice it before we put things onto the final piece of paper. So that's what is going to be due for next week, and then after that I feel like we'll be able to complete this project. So looking forward to that, and let's move on with the rest of the video. Alright, so talking about backgrounds, I think it would be a good idea if, say this is your portrait, and then you add a simple shape in the background, okay? Just to give it a little more interest. If you wanted to create something like this, you could too, an actual object, like a big object in the background, that's fine. Scroll down. See, even that kind of red hue, how it's almost like a half circle, but as it goes up, it fades out. So you could do that if you wanted to. Towards the bottom, it's a heavy gradient, and then as it gets to the top, it's lighter. That's a good idea. Another great example of that was what I just said. Darker on the bottom, goes up, that gradient smooths out. So everyone should kind of pick a shape to just put in the background, and then after you pick that shape, think about other elements. You remember I said 3 other objects. So you could be a simple shape like this, kind of these zigzaggy shapes. Something as simple as this is fine, and I don't, it's totally fine with me. If you literally take this shape and include it in your drawing, that's fine. Or if you wanted to do something like this to reference something your character likes, or if if it's more of if you based your character off of someone, what is that person like? If you like music, you could put these music notes back there. Let me scroll up. I love soccer. I also am a huge basketball person, so I could put a basketball and make a face with a basketball. This rubber ducky, if you wanted to copy this and put it back there, that's fine. If you wanted to put some clouds around your character, that's cool too. This one's interesting because you have the search symbol, the home symbol, and this is for, obviously he's looking at a computer, and these are all the things he can do on the computer. So if you wanted to do that, that's good. Nothing really in the background there. But again, that solid kind of just circle shape with a nice smooth gradient, that's interesting. So that could be cool to include. And, more cloudy type shapes. That's cool too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an example of how I want you to submit your practice background elements, okay? So what you're going to be submitting is a final drawing, no color, just a final drawing, and then on a separate piece of paper, you're going to show me the background elements you want to include. Next week, after I see the drawing and after I see the background elements, then I'm going to give you the okay, I may suggest making some adjustments, but then you're going to color in your actual drawing and add the background elements to your drawing, okay? So I'll make sure to include my example in the assignment section, as I've done previously, but that's what we are doing this week. As I said earlier, we are completing the drawing, no color. You're going to tell me what colors you're thinking about using, and then you are going to practice those background elements and practice the background elements and add color to them, okay? So I want to see whatever shape it is you're creating in the background. If it's that circle shape, I'll go down here. If it's kind of this circle shape with some clouds, I want to see that in color, okay? Because we're probably, it's more interesting to put a nice gradient in the background. And if everyone does one simple circle behind their drawing, that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that, but I would just like to see you practice adding that color, just so when we move to the final, we know that everything's going to be as good as possible because we've practiced it before. You have that one big shape, and then you think about the 3 objects to include in the background. And those 3 objects, like I said, could be other shapes, but smaller. As you see here, how they have the triangles. Go down here. This has a lot of stuff going on in there. You could also think about doing other bubbles, putting the gradient inside of them as well, or little things like this. Or you could do actual objects, and you can make them up, or you could do a version of this. So that is it for this part of the video. I'm now going to dip into the critique video. Please note, if I did not include your work in the critique video, you did not do the assignment correctly. You either did not submit the required amount of drawings, or your drawing did not reference the style that we are looking at here. I have responded to you in Google Classroom. It is your job to look at my comment, respond back with questions, and then we could move forward from there. Okay, again, that is if you are not included in the critique video. I will critique your work. It won't be in a video format, but you need to do the assignment correctly before I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to pause again, and then we will go into the critique video. All right, Jack, first one up. This one I like a lot. Cool little handlebar mustache going on. If this is a kind of like a chin type of soul patch type thing, I suggest either having it come off of here and kind of come out to the side like that. I think that would be better. You could also, and then when you go to add color, remember we're not adding color this week, but when you go to add color, you could kind of gradient it into the skin color. Or I suggest making it bigger, so kind of having it like, and then fade into the cheeks. Okay, and then it could be like this, like that. So that's my suggestion for this one. Also the hair, let's make the hair a little bit wider. So like up here, I'm gonna go off the paper so you can't really see it. But the hair could be a little bit wider, Jack, for that one. Let's go to this one. I don't like that one as much. This one's cool too. So my suggestion is, Jack, I'm just gonna close that one out. I would go with this one with these suggestions. Everything else looks good. I'm not sure about these lines right here. I don't think you got to worry about those. Everything looks great in here with my suggestions, okay? And then this one. This one's pretty much good as is. All right, I'll just definitely adjust. Again, that's why I'm having everyone redraw it. Adjust that so you don't see this kind of overlapping. We don't want that. So erase that, or when you redraw it, do a little better job with that. I like that it's kind of going into the chin. I think it'll be a little bit better if the chin was brought down a little bit more, and then this came down like this, and we kind of keep the mouth as is. So something like that I think will work a little bit better. But as far as the hair goes, the hair looks good. Nice little bald kind of old man looking like he's a little scared. I like that a lot. So Jack, it's up to you if you want to move forward with this one with my suggestions or this one with my suggestions. And let me know if you need any help, Jack. Just going to close these out. Next up is Emma. Yeah, it reminds me of Rugrats. This one, that one. So I like this one. I think the addition with the glasses would be cool. Remember, you want to erase the inside lines right here. And when you make these glasses, Emma, make them so this curves here and then kind of goes up and around a little bit. And then this goes like that. You don't want to have it coming out. You want it on a slight curve. And then the bottom one meets that curve. Okay, so it looks like that. Each side should look like that. And then I think it would be a little bit better if we put a curve right here. And then everything else is pretty much good as is. I think we could use a little bit more space on the hair. So maybe up here. You know, the more space, the better, really. Because you have more room to color. I think that would be good. As far as the mouth goes, I like that it's to the side like that, kind of like that's how my Uncle Jim talks. He talks with his mouth on the side of his face. So everything else about that is good. Yeah, with my suggestions. So I like this one. And I actually do like this one. I do like this one. However, I think it would be better if these were like thick squigglies like this. But I know what you're trying to make it seem like he doesn't have too much hair, but we still want to have areas to add color. So I think by doing this, that could work well. So, and this one's not bad either. So you could really choose any one you want, Emma. I mean, I but I like this one and this one better with my suggestions. But if you were really set in stone with this one, I mean, you could move forward with that one too. So that is that really. And let me know if you have questions, Emma. Mina, you did a great job, Mina. I'm just going to look at all of them. All right, so I think I like these two. This one's good too, but I like these two more. I think these have a little more character to them. This one I love. I love the Kind of reminds me of like a Zorro type character with the earring. I love that effect. Love the earring. So original. So this one pretty much as is. I don't really have too many comments. Maybe give him some teeth. Maybe. You know, that might not hurt. The hair looks good. I like this little dip-de-doo you got up here relating to the artist we looked at. Awesome job. And yeah, everything else with that looks good. You know, I love the addition to the earring, the mustache. So, you know, the reason why we're redrawing is, you know, I could see it got a little messy here, but hopefully when you redraw it, you know exactly what you want it to look like, so you won't have to erase anything. So it's a nice, fresh, clean piece of paper. Also, try to get the drawing in the center of the paper, or as close to the center of the paper as possible. Okay, Mina? So we got that one. And then this one I like. So we just want to make sure we're referencing where the hair starts. So we'd want to put a line that goes kind of like this and make it curved to go with the flow of everything else. And then that will allow us to probably want to make this a little bit wider. Something like that. Okay, but we definitely want, because right now it just looks like her head is that shape, right? We don't have the line where the hair starts, so we want to definitely make sure we include that. And then everything else, once again, Mina, looks good. I really don't have too much to say. I love this addition to the mouth, kind of similar to what Jack had, I believe. I love that. So that's a nice little addition, and with my suggestions, I think it can be improved. So look forward to seeing those adjustments, and whichever one you want to choose to move forward with for the final, go for it. All right, Emily. Oh, okay, that's why I only have two. They're all great. I like this one because I like the positioning of the face, right? It's kind of you're seeing 3/4 of the face, so I think that's different, and I like it a lot. This looks fairly clean. You do have a little some scratchy marks, probably because you're drawing nice and light, but you know, this looks like it could be ready to go. So good. I like this one a lot. I love these kind of little additions to the eyeballs. That's great. I love to see that. And this one, I think I like the top one a little bit better. I mean, I don't know. They really both could work. Once again, another one. Great job. I mean, like I said, I like the top one. If you like this bottom one, then you can move forward with that bottom one by all means. You know, both hair is interesting. For some reason, I like this one a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe it's the eyes. They're kind of like Pac-Man eyeballs. I like them. So I don't really have any adjustments. I mean, they look good. So just choose whichever one you want to move forward with. Make whatever adjustments you seem necessary. Make sure it's a nice clean drawing. Make sure it's in the middle of the paper, like, you know, how this one seems to already be. Obviously, if you choose one of this one, make sure it fits into the middle of the paper. Okay. So once again, everybody, if you weren't included in this critique video, that's because you did not complete the assignment, or you did the assignment incorrectly, and that, you know, I'm not able to give you any suggestions. So make sure you're doing that if you notice that you weren't included. And then I look forward to seeing everyone's work moving forward. Look for my example about how I want you to submit the practice background elements. Okay, you'll see my attachment in the assignment section somewhere where this video will be posted. So again, just to reiterate, everybody, I'm going to create a new document just so I can get a nice piece of paper. And so you could have your piece of paper landscape version. I suggest everyone does it landscape version because I think it'll be a little bit easier. If you wanted to do it portrait version, you could do it portrait version too. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You You know, so if you wanted your piece of paper to be like this, that's fine. If you wanted your piece of paper to be like this, that's fine as well. However, the most important part is that drawing needs to be as close to the middle as possible. Okay, so your portrait should be in here. You know, even if you want to draw a light square to kind of figure out where the middle is, that might be a good idea. It's okay if your final drawing kind of ends up like this. You know, you got a little bit more room on the right than on the left. It's not the end of the world. We could just add some more of those background elements on this side to kind of even it out. So don't stress too much about that. Just you don't want your drawing to be over here, because that's nowhere near the middle of the paper, right? That's on the complete other side. So that's really the most important part. So make sure you're doing that when you're drawing your final. You know, I say I wanted it clean. Try to make it clean as possible. I understand we're going to have mistakes. It's not going to be the end of the world, but those mistakes are not going to be seen as prominently if you're drawing nice and light. Okay, so make sure you are drawing nice and light. Just apply a little bit of pressure when you're drawing, right? Kind of scratch at the paper rather than pressing hard. That way, if you make a mistake, you can just erase it, okay? And it's always good that we did these practice, because as we see, obviously, if Emily was to pick one of these two, you know, she can't just go right along and use this one because she has to redraw it. And by redrawing it, she knows how she wants it to look. She can look at this one and then simply just copy it onto a fresh piece of paper. Okay, so I hope that clarifies what I'm expecting for that original drawing. And then you hand that drawing in, no color, in the private comment section. I want you to type where and what color you're thinking of using. So hair color is going to be purple, the skin color is going to be blue, the eyebrows are going to be pink, and so on and so forth. And then hand in the background, the practice background elements on a separate piece of paper, and hand it in as you see in my example. Okay, the idea is to practice those background elements, finish our final drawing, and then next week add color to the final drawing, and then put those background elements into the drawing to complete it. Okay, obviously it won't be a square, it'll be your portrait, but you get the idea. All right, everybody, so let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing everyone's final drawing and their practice background elements. Please, 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 please make sure to get back to me if I said you did something wrong and it needs adjusting. Please. I want to make sure we're all on the same page moving forward. Okay? Have a nice weekend.